but look at fourth and what first. I mean, it's ridiculous right there, man. 40K and 130K.
Yeah, no, the pay jumps are always just absolutely insane, and as many final tables as I cover, it's still so hard for me to wrap my head around it. Like, man, if you run well, you're literally going to make like $100,000 more than the guy who runs bad at this point.
Yeah,
That's
it's
just
pretty
what?
pretty ridiculous, man. It's some crazy stuff. This is a really strange hand. So Zeno led half pot on the turn. I don't know. So I did commentary for the PLO Poker Masters on PokerGo. You can catch it on Poker Central's YouTube channel, and those were some of the best tournament players in the entire world watching. So that was really fun to watch. We got to see hole cards up too, so that was pretty sick. Me and Jeff Platt did that for 8 days. This with the hole cards down, obviously different experience. So I'm curious to see what kind of strategies and what hands we're going to see right now. I'm pretty excited for the final table here.
For sure. Our chip leader, by the way, is we'll call him. I guess it's Chai T or maybe it's Chicago T 420. I don't know. Either way, his name is Todd Sladik. Apologize if I'm butchering your last name. He has 221,000 in career live earnings. No real PLO accolades that I see. Does have a circuit ring on his poker resume. So that is Chai T
Cool.
420. We'll keep an eye on him.
Sounds good. I see we're on Twitch. I'm not sure if we're on YouTube right now, unfortunately. Maybe we're on like a
We
100-minute
are.
delay on YouTube. We are on
No, we're
YouTube?
on
Okay, 'cause
YouTube. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitch. We're everywhere, man.
okay. I'm in some chat on YouTube and no one's chatting, so maybe no one's in there.
From the start of this, I can only watch one chat. I only got two eyes, and between watching the play and the action, Champagne poppin'. By the way, just raised it up to 280,000. Blinds are 40-80. As always, by the way, pot limit games there are no antes. We'll talk about that in a second. Anyway, since I only have one set of eyes, I follow the chat on Twitch, but feel free to head over to YouTube if you want.
You just big time YouTube like that? That's pretty big timing, buddy.
No, dude, I got to choose one place. It's not a matter of big timing.
I mean, you're big time in the YouTube right there. Aye, man. Like those are my people, buddy. You're big time in my people on YouTube. Those are my guys, man. Shout out to my guys on YouTube. Ay,
Yeah, yeah.
papi, colamos que la manota rai,
I,
se lo más horas today. What's the boss say? La da. Ay. It's okay, man. We got a limp here. I'm liking this right here. Limp under the gun and a pound size
Guy
raise.
Dunlop. Guy Dunlop limping
Wonder
in
what my man
here.
guys limp. Yeah, I wonder what he's limping here. Maybe kings or like a very strange play, limping under the gun. I mean, maybe he's got the kind of rundown, the connected rundown type hand, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8, 9, Jack 10. Could have kings, could have some limpery raises here. It'd be unusual, but certainly not
Are you
unheard
ever
of. He just
limp?
calls here. Remember
Are you
what
ever limp?
holding?
Are you no? I was going to ask you. Are you ever limping with big pairs like bad ones, like bad kings? Well, look there you go, kings. Good
Yeah,
call
I
by
mean
you. Set
that's
of eights here. Eights full. Phil Lock, Guy Dunlop doubles up to 2.6 million. Bandit 275 down to 838,000. So that's the kind of hand he limps with. King 8-8.
yeah, it makes sense. I mean, those are the kind of hands you're going to find. Maybe double paired hands, the kind of connected hands. Some players are just going to raise it up. It's a very unusual hand when you're that short. What do you start that hand with? Like a little over 10 blinds. That's like a very weird stack size in Pot Limit Omaha tournaments where there's differing strategies. Some players are going to come in with limping there. Some players might pot there. Some players might raise fold there too as well. Especially with, I mean, these stacks are all really close together. Everyone's pretty short stack here, so there is some merit to seeing a flop and then folding if you don't hit a king or an eight. Obviously, hit a king or an eight. So yeah, it's an interesting
I
spot though. I
love
mean,
it.
I don't really have these situations really figured out. The 8 to 10 to 12, it's not a very common spot you study when you study the great game. A lot of my studies mainly 100 big blind plus, so I don't have much experience kind of studying these 30 to 40 big blinds necessarily, but you got to get better at them when you handle short stacks and cash games, and also when you play these tournaments. That's the normal stack size that you're at. So I think I've seen different strategies where some people go very heavy limp, and some people are going 2x, and some people are going pot. So that's the great thing about these is there isn't really much strategy out there that would be a defined standard sort of thing. So you're going to see people doing all sorts of different things, which I think makes it pretty fun.
That voice is the voice of Joey Ingram, the one and only Joey Ingram. If you are not aware of who he is, crawl out of your cave, go check out his vlogs over on, and his podcast, I should say, over on YouTube. He does an amazing job. The poker community is lucky to have him. Joey, man, I can't tell you how far you've come in the sense. I remember the first time we did commentary together many years ago, and you wouldn't even talk strategy. You're like, I don't want to do it. No, I'm not doing it. No. And here you're diving right in. I love it.
Well, that's because the main thing I study now, I'm not actually talking here, so I don't study it. The poker is my main thing anymore. It's more like probably like my third or fourth. I'm kind of studying right now, but I'm going to get back into it. So I don't know as much as I used to know. I used to know a lot, but now I don't know as much. So I don't mind necessarily talking some strategy. You know what I'm saying?
I got you. I got you. I got you here. By the way,
Yeah, but I mean,
got a raise
I
here
think I'll.
from Guy Dunlop.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I was going to say a raise from Guy Dunlop. Anthony Zeno in the big blind. He's going to let that one go. Continue on. My bad.
I lost my train of thought. I was kind of focused on the raise. You got me on the raise. You got me excited for the raise. I thought something big was happening.
No, nothing big there. Nothing big. You're
Yeah,
talking
what I
about
was
how
just saying was like,
poker's not
yeah,
your
when I
big thing. Yeah.
right when I first started doing the like content, I never really wanted to get into too in-depth strategy, so I would always keep it pretty basic, and I would just refuse to talk strategy often. But more like mental game strategy or kind of mindset strategy, I never mind talking. But the PLO stuff specifically and how I would able to win at the game, I just didn't really want to talk much about because it doesn't really make much sense to give away a lot of strategy like that, especially if you're able to do well. Then, but I think as over time has gone by, you still know how to exploit bad players. That never goes away. But your actual ability to be able to understand what some of the newest trends are, you just need to talk to a few people, right? It's not very hard to learn this kind of stuff now. So
Yeah, you and I. Last time you and I spoke, at least did commentary together, was a few months ago. You and I were we did the final day of the Galfon Challenge. That was a hell of a lot of fun.
yeah, that was pretty nuts. I mean, that epic comeback by Phil. That was the most I ever studied heads up Pot Limit Omaha. So I was playing a lot of heads up PLO on the side. It was great. It was really fun. I enjoyed it a lot. Looks like we're gonna see an all in here from our boy Guy Dunlop here. I think he's gonna have either a set or a straight draw, but gets away with it, takes it down.
Yeah, and just like that, by the way, Phil Locke, who is AKA the guy Dunlop, that's not the real Phil Locke. He is up to 3.3 million. By the way, though, for the record,
Bro,
we've
we
seen
should
Phil
ban
Locke
this
come in
guy.
costume.
We should ban this guy. I'm serious, man, because he's going around representing himself as the great Phil Locke. Like, I mean, may want to get this guy out of here. I think.
Listen, I'm going to go on a limb and just go stay with my train of thought here. Tell me it's not Phil Locke-ish to say your name is Phil Locke, have people do research, figure out your Guy Dunlop, and then find out that Phil Locke's alias is Guy Dunlop, and that's actually Phil Locke.
I mean, nothing would surprise me about a guy who makes his screen name Phil Locke. I don't know.
Right? Action folds
Looks
around from
like,
the blinds.
yeah, interesting.
By the way, we have five bracelets won at this particular table. Jacks Up has won 3 of them, won back to back to back, went 3 straight years with a bracelet. Still, certainly one of the amazing feats at the World Series of Poker. It's hard to win a bracelet. To win one in 3 consecutive years, that's certainly pretty special, especially the years he did it. We're talking 2010, 11, and 12. Big fields. That is Anthony Zeno. He's a 2-time bracelet winner. Won both of his bracelets in the 4-card game. One was 25K PLO. You and I commentated on that. The other one was 2019, which was a 1500 PLO 8 or better bracelet.
Bro, you got all the facts. Seriously,
I got
this all on your sheet or what?
I got monitors in front of me, man. Look, no, see, I'm like, I got here. I got like iPads and stuff and all sorts
Oh
of
my
stuff,
God.
man.
Serious. Okay.
That's why if I miss action, it's because my eyes are like here or there or something like that, you know? Get a raise here from Zeno. Matt Matros makes the call.
I guess he's got a weak ace, I'm assuming. No flush draw. Nice. Ay, ay, ay.
Ay, indeed. A set of aces,
Ay,
no
ay,
good.
ay.
Jacks up. Hits the flush on the turn. Board does not pair, and we say goodbye to Ant Zeno. Ant Zeno, by the way, with his 7th cash of the series, just an absolute beast. I mean, when you think about some of the best poker players, best tournament poker players out there today, this is a guy who plays everything and just seems to run deep in everything. Guy used to be a lawyer, and ever since he stopped doing that and kind of focused on poker, he has just been an absolute crusher. Anthony Zeno finishes in eighth place, takes home $11,526. Joey, we're down to 7.
Shout out to my man Zeno. Nice run, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Hope things are going well with Zeno. I know he's last time I talked to him, he was living over here in Vegas as well too, GTO headquarters. So hope he's doing well with the quarantine. I mean, listen, the guy seems to be kind of pretty good at tournaments. So a lot of great tournaments out there going on right now around the world. So it's a good time to be a tournament player, Tuck. I mean, you see these tournaments coming up, Tuck. You see these things: $100 million WPT, $100 million GG Poker World Series of Poker. It's pretty crazy out there.
Yeah, it is insane, man. 85 bracelet events here on the World Series of Poker bracelets, split up between WSOP.com and GG Poker. And one thing that I've been talking about, we got an all in here: aces, queen 10 versus kings and queens. Aces hold.
Nope. Okay.
Aces hold. Bandit 275 up to 1.8 million. Thanks SimGod down to 1.5.
Yeah, pretty standard play by thanks SimGod. I mean, king, king, queen, queen. Even though opponent raised early position there, you're still going to go with that hand. Of course, you're going to be up against aces sometimes because some players are playing pretty tight. But there is going to be some other hands that he's going to have as well too, some rundown type hands. But I would imagine you're never really loving it with king, king, queen, queen there, unfortunately. But you're never really loving it with aces when you get all in these kind of tournaments. So the equities just run so close that oftentimes you're kind of flipping coins.
I was going to say, I mean, when you have king, king, queen, queen, when you think of all the hands your opponent's going to be going with, if it's not aces, a lot of times it is going to include some sort of like king, queen rundown or ace, king, queen rundown. And if you've got kings and queens blocked, isn't it just so much more likely your opponent's going to have aces in that spot?
Yeah, I mean, maybe in that specific spot where it's someone raising early position like that, especially. I mean, I don't know how loose these guys are gonna be playing an 8-7 big blind. Maybe they think they need to take a stand with queens or with really good jacks. So maybe they have like really good jacks, maybe like the best rundowns, and then those ace double suited combinations as well too. So maybe there are a little bit more hands than maybe you might anticipate. But either way, it's like king, king, queen, queen. You put it in and you say your prayers. So
See what happens there. By the way, that was Jacob Powers, Bandit 275, gentleman who doubled up with the aces, just folded out of the small blind. Action on thanks SimGod, who's going to
do you
call
know if
this raise from
Robert
Danish.
Williamson? Yeah, is the Godfather of Pot Limit Omaha, Robert Williamson III? Is he one of these guys potentially? Maybe he's champagne popping.
I assume it is. I assume he's got to be here, doesn't he?
Well, I don't know. I mean, he's like a pretty good player. He's the Godfather of Pot Limit Omaha, so I'm assuming that Robert Williamson III did make it here. Yeah. Yeah.
Danish 01 takes that one down. Small little pot. I have done some commentary with RW3 way
Oh
back
my
when.
gosh.
Was my voice? I'm only curious. So was my voice that high then? Had I not reached puberty yet? Was that it?
Your voice 100% sounds like that. Anyone that watched that clip knows what I'm talking about from just me saying that. So Tuck's got a bunch of infamous clips up there on YouTube from old school. I'm talking like pre 2008, and he 100% sounded just like that in the most epic hand. Dude, that hand between Phil Ivey and Tom Dwan, the ace deuce when they both turned the straight, was one of the greatest hands for like 3 years back during that time of poker. And now we see it, and it's not, but it's still a pretty sick fucking hand. $1 million. Patrick Antonius is falling asleep right there. I mean, three-handed, 3 of the top guys in the entire world at that time. Like, we were like, this is unreal to see these 3 competitors compete at the same table shorthanded. Just, never really saw something like that back then. It was awesome. It was awesome to watch.
No, yeah, and it just kind of encapsulates that era. When you think about poker and as poker evolves and it goes forward, you can look at defining moments of different eras of poker, and Phil Ivey, Tom Dwan, Patrick Antonius, Full Tilt, that whole thing was then. That was 2006, 2007, 2008. That whole time. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I'm guessing this guy has a full house, has aces full. That's why he checked back flop, or maybe this is like a very nice nice way to save a few chips here if you are trying to bluff. I mean, yeah, nice, interesting hand there. Okay. I mean, the short stack
He
razor
just
under
yeah.
the gun. He's got 200,000. Yeah, very strange.
I was gonna say he just bet 80,000 into 600.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be a pretty good board for him, and especially once he checks back the flop, your opponent most likely is going to lead the turn with any ace that they have. I'd imagine so. So maybe he can bet 80 as a bluff sometimes and get it through and makes a really good. I mean, something to think about. It's an interesting. I mean, it's what you can do in these tournaments, man. You can do some weird things like that.
I like it. Danish
Shout out to my
01,
man
by the
Norman,
way.
my man Norman Chad out there. By the way, I want to give back a big shout out to Norman Chad. Norman Chad, one of the best dancers in the poker world right now. He regularly posts himself dancing on Twitter, and I fucking love the dances. Shout out to my man Norm. Can't wait to see him again,
Have
man.
you
Hope he's doing well out there.
have you done an Ukaluka yet?
I've done one off camera, yes.
What do you mean off camera? Wait, you just do them for
Yeah.
fun on your own?
Yeah, man, for sure.
For those of you who don't know what an Ukaluka is, check out Norman Chad's Twitter page. It is it's as interesting as it sounds. I'm trying to think of a nice way to say. Just go look, and you can let me know what you think. Phil Locke here, Guy Dunlop matched up against Chicago T420.
Ivy Rules on YouTube said that Joey needs to be more in touch with his fans. Well, I think I'm more in touch with my fans in poker than almost anyone in poker, but sometimes I can work a little harder. I agree with that, Ivy Rules.
320,000 here from Shy T420 gets called. Pot now 1.4 million. 4 spades on the
Phil's
river.
usually,
That doesn't change anything.
yeah, Phil's usually going to have a flush here or a jack and some deuces. Or I'm sorry, it's actually not. So he could have let me see what you have. He could have a bunch of hands. He could have a bunch of draws here too. Yeah, king,
How about just
6, 10.
kings?
Makes sense. Makes sense.
And kings are good. He's going to win that pot up to 4 million. By the way, he is our chip leader. Shane Daniels, once again, that's Danish 01. Career live tournament winnings just $2,700. Has won 58,000 online over at 888 New Jersey. So that's Shane Daniels on kind of the bottom left center of your screen. Danish 01.
Carico Kyle says, wow, okay, so Champagne Poppin is actually not Robert Williamson III. It's Blake Whittington, a beast. So his name is Blake Whittington, a beast. That's his name.
Which one?
Champagne Poppin is named Blake Whittington, a beast.
Okay, well,
He's
Blake Whittington, by the way, has
grinder.
Yeah, he's not just a grinder. He has 6 rings.
He has 6 rings. Okay.
So he grinds and grinds hard.
How many ring events have there been lifetime? Like, can we put this in perspective a little bit?
I mean, I don't know how many. There's a lot of ring events, obviously. It's a circuit events, but still, though, to win 6. I mean, I'll put it this way: just to win 6 tournaments has got to be a pretty good accomplishment. It's hard to win a poker tournament.
For who? For a full-time poker player, winning 6 that plays tournaments, winning 6 is a lot.
To winning 6 live tournaments, yeah, I would say that's still a lot because I would think, you think about in your career. I'm talking about live. You think about in your career how many live poker tournaments you're going to make the final table on. And you go, okay. And then out of all those final tables, how many times you're going to win? That's hard.
I don't know. I haven't really played many live tournaments, so I don't have any context to compare this to. But now you got me thinking. I mean, you go 12 years of your life, you don't win 7 tournaments. That seems kind of crazy, right? I would imagine you would. Maybe you go play the Golden Nugget $80 just to get some juices in the win. I mean, I don't know, right? Maybe you go play the Planet Hollywood Daily $60 tournament just to take something down to feel good about yourself.
Hey,
I can't imagine
Joey,
playing tournaments and only winning 7.
Hey, that Planet Hollywood Daily 60 is tough. Okay, that is really, really tough. Okay, so don't talk smack about that one.
No, it's not. But I agree. Bro, these guys are mixing it up, Tuck. I'm loving this, man. My man Chai T is like, I'm second in chips. I'm going. These guys are really gonna go with it here. This is amazing.
There it is. Aces 6-4 versus the Kings 9-10. Diamonds are live as well.
Ooh, doesn't do it.
No, aces hold. He had too many outs there. Didn't get there. And just like that, Matt Matros, 3-time bracelet winner, gone.
You
Matt
know what?
Matros
If
is
there's ever
out.
ever a time to fold that hand, Tuck, the king 9-10 with the one, I think it was a one or double suited there. That may have been the time because that guy is just not squeezing there without ace. I mean, that's like very crazy play to make without aces from Shy T. So that may have been a hand that you think about laying down, but I understand the allure is a very premium hand. So a real tough spot for that hand though.
Jay Smith, 84 Poker says Blake Whittington, a beast. Well, he's got to get some chips there. Champagne popping. Blake Whittington, 6-time circuit ring winner. He is our short stack right now. Chai T 420, our chip leader. And I kind of agree with you. And I'm friends with Matt Matros, and I'm not, I'll say this about him. I don't think, and I think he'd be the first one to say it, PLO is definitely not his best game. I mean, far from it. I mean, honestly, I'm surprised that he even played it. I didn't even realize he played PLO at all.
Jeez.
No, I'm being serious.
You're
I
like,
mean,
what is this guy possibly doing here?
When I was looking, a couple of hours ago, 3 hours ago, and I started watching and I'm looking through and everything, and I watched Jeff Platt stream, and I'm like, wait, Matt Matros? And I'm like double checking. I'm like, wait, maybe it's not PLO. Shoot, did I get Joey on the wrong show? Like I've known Matt for the last 10 years, and I've never seen him play PLO. So
Interesting.
but nonetheless, man, 7th place, another World Series of Poker final table for him. So well done. Blake Whittington, by the way, 1.65 million in lifetime earnings, 184 cashes, 6 rings. His biggest score was $151,000 just last year in Tunica.
Someone in the chat said that only 25 people have 6 rings. So I know in the term of rings, of course, if you win 6 of them, that's going to be high. But if you've only won 6 tournaments in your entire career, I don't think that would be high for someone. I mean, that's like I'm very interested. I want to talk to the tournament players who have played a very long time and how many tournaments they've won. Maybe it is 6. Maybe that's a lot for most tournament players to win.
I mean, how many do you think like Norman Chad's won?
He's probably won 6 tournaments. I don't know. I would imagine he's won 6. Yeah.
I mean, are we counting like, the ones he plays at home with his dogs?
Why not? Sure. Any tournament.
There
Yeah, I don't know. Why not?
Yeah, Messiah.
People take these
Bookdog
comments so seriously. They take them so serious, Tuck. You say 6 rings, and they're like, did he? They just like they take these comments so serious in these streams, and like on Twitter, they really take it serious on Twitter. So it's a lot of fun just saying things.
You just called out every single live tournament grinder who's like, I've only won 5 tournaments my entire life, man. They suddenly feel like, they're inadequate. I'm here to tell you, you're not inadequate. You're doing great. If you win 6 tournaments in your life, man, well done on you.
I mean, listen, if you're having a good time playing, that's all that matters, right? I mean, whether you win or lose, if you have a fun time playing, and some people like play to win money, some people play to have a good time, some people play to lose money. So whatever you play for, man, it's up to you guys.
Hey, big happy birthday for one of my favorites, Jimmy Bluffett out there. Happy birthday to you, Mr. Bluffett. Oh, wait a second, though. I will say this. He's won 6 rings, but he's actually won 16 live tournaments lifetime. 21 times he's gotten heads up. So he's 16-5 heads up. He's a killer. That's good. Are you impressed by that?
Sick. That's really, yeah, I like that. I mean, listen, I don't know. I saw Mike Possel's resume during my research, and Mike Possel had a lot of victories on his chart too, now that I'm thinking about it. So I'd like to see him and Mike Possel maybe play a heads-up tournament to see who can be the victor.
Like I said, the poker community is lucky to have the one and only Joey Ingram.
How about that?
He turns over every stone. He tells it like it is. Hey,
no,
there aren't many people like you. No. What do you mean? It's not true. You hold back?
No, I know a lot, Tuck. I know a lot that I don't talk about because, it can take you down some dark holes, Tuck. So there are more things that I could probably bring attention to in poker that people would be like, that seems a little out of line. But, unless you have 100% proof sometimes, or if you're ready to make the certain people upset at you, right? Anytime you uncover something, people get really upset at you that are either friends with those people or that just don't fucking believe you. So they need you to prove it to them. And then every single person makes you feel like you need to prove what you're saying to them or you're the biggest piece of shit of all time. So it's not really as enjoyable as it might sound to the outside for people who may think it's exciting or anything like that. It really isn't.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Danish 01's going to take that one down. 6 players remain. Everybody guaranteed a little bit over $20,000. Players are going on a break. I'm not going on a break. Joey, if you need a break, you can take one, but I'm going to stick around. Let's talk to the chat if you want to. That okay?
So they said the most ring winner has 17. So I don't know what that means, but if the main, who's the main? Isn't that the one kid from San Diego?
Man, there's a couple of people out there that have just amazing. Off the top of my head, I don't know who has the most rings out there. There's a handful of people out there like Valentin Bornaku. I thought he had the most for a while. I don't think he's there right now, but I think he has like 12 or 13.
Yeah, that dude's really good. He's a grinder, man. I like that kid.
Yeah, I'm gonna. By the way, I think Valentin, by the way, is gonna be joining us tomorrow night for the $500 no limit hold'em. So if you guys like Valentin's made a deep run of the main event. He is a devout vegan.
Man, this guy in the chat said our chemistry, but we have a lot of lag. So when I talk, like Tuck and me have we're like off by a second. So when I talk, Tuck really can't hear. So one of us is on lag right now.
Yeah, there's a slight lag issue. Don't know. I think I don't know why. I mean, it's 2020. It doesn't make any sense to me, but for whatever reason, occasionally it happens here. Last night we had no issue at Max Steinberg. Some nights we do have an issue. Anyway, our apologies for that. Want to say hi to some people in the chat. James the Bear, what's up? Check raise flops. Sleevey 98, CBX 28, Dark Slides, Jim Lad 999. What's going on? Joey Ingram alongside me for the commentary of event number 15. First place, $133,000. We had 663 entries. We are down to our final 6. Joey, how have you been, by the way? I mean, you do all these podcasts and you talk to all these amazing people and, you do research and you undercover but does anybody ever sit down with you and just go, man, Joey, how are you?
Not really. No. That doesn't happen. I'm alive, Tuck. I'm alive, buddy. Here I am.
Okay.
That sums it up.
Good to know you're alive. Maurice Hawkins, by the way. Yep. All-time ring leader. Maurice Hawkins has 14.
I'd like to have that guy on the show. I mean, I've heard some good and bad things about him. I'd like to have him on the show and get to know more about him. 14 rings. That's pretty impressive total right there.
Who's your favorite guest you've ever had on your podcast?
My favorite guest I've had on my podcast is probably I used to love obviously having Doug Polk on. He was always one of my favorite people to have on just because I knew him well. I like the people that I know the most when I have them on the show. So I think Doug's were always really fun. Doug was the one of the only people that understand that I'm sarcastic all the time. So on my show, I would just troll him all the time, and he would finally picked up on it maybe about 4 years into it that I was kind of being sarcastic with a lot of the questions and things that I would say. So once he was able to pick up on that, it became a lot more enjoyable for me to do it with him. But I think the guys that preach the wisdom, like the Barry Greenstein or a Bill Perkins, I think those people that really bring that in-depth knowledge and, they tell you something that you never thought about and you say, oh shit, how the fuck did this guy figure it out, sort of thing like that. So anytime I talk with people like that, and I plan to do some more guests like that in the future and maybe branch out of poker a little bit. So I kind of have some new shows I'm doing. I got a new show I'm doing right now in the podcast. So I'm just figuring out what kind of content I want to do.
I know you put out a tweet out there, and for those of you who don't follow Joey, he is a great follow on Twitter, Instagram. You got to check him out. Of course, head over to YouTube, click on his channel, hit the subscribe button. He puts out great content all the time, and I know he's been working hard on content lately, so you can check all that stuff out. I know you put a tweet out there saying, who do you want that I haven't had? For me, I want Molly from Molly's Game. Because not just the poker connection, but everything that she had to go through dealing with the feds. And she just seems like such an interesting person, and what she's had to deal with. I think she would be an amazing interview, and it would kind of be a nice bridge because obviously she's not just about the poker, but kind of like you in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, listen, me talking to Molly Bloom, the infamous game runner who allegedly, I mean, listen, there's some stories in that movie that don't make much sense, and I'd like to ask her about it. But I mean, it'd be just be a lot of fun, right? How cool would that be? Just to we all find that allure of the private game world and the high stakes world and what goes on there and how much of assholes these people are and stuff like that. I mean, I think there's a lot of really interesting points you could touch on with that. She was in New York and LA. That would be a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be. I would really look forward to it, and obviously you have had some amazing guests on through the years. Uh, I mean, I cover a lot of poker, and I have to just because of time constraints, I've got to pick and choose what I listen to and what I watch when I'm not working, and I really try not to miss any of yours. Phil Locke, Guy Dunlop, going to win that one up to 3.7 million. Our chip leader, by the way, that is Chicago T, who's Todd Sladek. He has 0 live PLO caches. And that doesn't mean he's not a PLO cash game player, but as far as we know from a tournament perspective, he has 0 live tournament caches.
Well, he just picked up aces versus kings, so you don't got to be a tournament god to be able to do something like that. So, pretty nice play by him. What do you think about my man Ryan DePaulo? He's gonna be on my show on Friday. What do you think about Ryan? You like him?
Oh, dude, that's a great story. I love Ryan. Ryan, by the way, what a story he has been this World Series of Poker. So 3 nights ago, the guy wins a friggin' bracelet in a parking lot at Whole Foods. I mean, that is just so boss. Whole Foods employees are coming into the parking lot. They're coming in, going to work, and he gets out of his car. I'm a god. I'm a legend. And man, you are. And then the next night he runs deep again. The next night he runs deep, but before he runs deep, he knocks Chris Ferguson out on the bubble. I am
Yeah,
huge
man.
Ryan DePaulo fan. Yes, I'm looking forward to that one. Friday?
I'm watching this hand. Yeah, I'm watching this hand. I'm curious. So Shy T potted under the gun, and now I'm assuming he has like a kings type hand, something like that.
I'm just gonna let it
Very
go. He's in the
interesting hand. But yeah, I
4.2
mean,
million.
with Ryan DePaulo, I feel like it's like very inspiring for a lot of people out there because he's American, he is public, and we know who he is. We know his story a little bit, especially his fans. I think when they see him take this down, I mean, anyone can do it really, right? So, and I think he's a lot smarter than a lot of people. I don't know what their perception of him is. I know him from our private conversation, so I don't really know him as much from his content. But when I watch his content, it's really fun, very fun. That you could tell he's very smart about what he does. He's very smart about the image that he's built and the brand that he's built up. So I just think it's very inspiring for a lot of people. I saw the old man Mac Daddy win in. He got Miguel doing the dance. I think these are really
Love
cool
that.
stories, and we got to show some more of our winners and give people hope. Like I watch those guys win. I'm like, fuck, that's awesome. Like I want to go win some money too. And I think that those stories went away in the past few years, and they weren't as featured as much. And I think it's coming back around, especially with streams like this and it being more online, and especially Ryan having a big audience. And I don't know, man. I feel a
Which
lot of
by
really
the
good things coming to the poker world.
which by the way, but to me is so ironic. We got an open here on the button from Phil Locke. Bandit 275 defends. That's Jacob Powers versus Guy Dunlop here. Quick bet on an ace-6 rainbow board, and he takes it down. To me, it's so ironic because coming into the World Series of Poker.com online bracelet series, I was like, man, I don't know. We're going to get big numbers. We're not going to know anybody. There's going to be a lot of unknowns at the final table. We're not going to see any great celebrations like, a couple of years ago when we saw the Brazilian, when Jamie and I did the Colossus and it was on ESPN on SportsCenter. I'm like, man, all those great stories are going to be gone, right? But it's been the exact opposite. I mean, we've had the ugly. We've had Mike Matisow and his rant and that whole thing. We've had Daniel Negreanu almost break a computer, right? And then we've had, Ryan DePaulo winning a bracelet in the parking lot. We've had, like you said, Michael Leck dancing. Like, love that, right? Pardon me, as I choked to death here.
Okay. Thought you were gonna die over there for a second, buddy. Don't die on me yet.
I might have. Hey, listen, if I'm gonna go, I feel like if I'm gonna go, doing commentary for the World Series of Poker is probably when I should go, right?
I guess. I mean, not really. I feel bad for your wife. You just got to raise the kids alone, kid. You can't let her do that.
Hey, listen, I don't want to go. I'm just saying. I mean, if you've got to pick a place at a time where you're going to go, okay, doing commentary during the World Series, probably apropos. And then, like you said, man, Ron McMillan, McDaddy. But these videos, I love them. And the stories we're
I
seeing,
know
Chance
they're cool.
Corneth, dude, Chance Corneth a couple of days ago had 1/9 of a big blind, and he comes back and he finishes runner up for a bracelet. How do you come back from 1/9 of a big blind to finish in second place?
Did you see the one Joe McKeon posted? He was in his underwear running around after he won the bracelet last night. Did that one make it on Twitter?
I have not seen that one yet,
I'm just fucking
and
with you, buddy. Hey.
I was gonna say I have not seen Joe, but no, and then Joe McKeon, just absolute boss last night, and he does it. Connor Drinan. I mean, right out of the gate, by the way, Phil Hellmuth comes in 11th in event number 1. The next night, Daniel Negreanu makes a deep run, finishes, I think, 18th. Connor Drinan, Daniel Negreanu with the well-publicized 100K bracelet event. Connor Drinan makes a final table a few nights ago. Like every night, we're getting a great story. King
Let's see what we
9-6
get
versus
tonight,
Jack 9-8-7. Spades and a pair of eights here. 8-7's good. 8-7 is good. Shy T up to 4.5 million, and we lose. We lose Blake Whittington, six rings, 16 live tournament wins lifetime. He's not going to win number 17 today. He's gone in 6th place, takes home $20,659, and we're down to 5. But dude, that's what I mean. I mean, for me, I did not expect this coming into an online bracelet series. I did not expect it to be nearly as fun as it has been. I'm having a blast.
Tuck, you have a blast literally every year doing commentary for the World Series of Poker. I've never seen you, and I see you almost every summer. You're never down. You're never like, oh, this sucks. You're always like, this is fucking awesome. I can't wait to do more of it. So you're always extremely happy and excited to be doing some commentary for the World Series of Poker, man. No one, I mean, you do it every day for like 30 days straight. So you got to be a madman and really love what you do to do something like this.
Dude, I am so lucky. I mean, and like I said, I mean, hey, listen, all tournaments aren't considered. I mean, once in a while you get kind of a dull one. You're like, okay, man, when is this going to be over? Especially if it's like, they go 12, 13 hours. But these online ones, I mean, it's like come in hot. Like I said the other night, you throw 11 pitches and I'm done. This is great.
That's funny.
Get a raise here from Chai T.
I got some intel from one of my buddies. He said Shy T is one of my guys from Chicago. It's Todd Sladek. He's a maniac. We call him Retod. Okay, so there you go. Retod and a maniac. Wait a second. What do they call him? Seems out of line. Wait a second. What? Come on, man. What the hell are these nicknames? Ay.
Norman Chad, ESPN, says I had 1/9 of a big blind in my second marriage. I did not come back. Well played, Norman.
We gotta get Norm. We gotta. I'm bringing Norm to Vegas.
Norman, I hear a rumor that you might be getting a dog. When's that coming out? Norman in the chat also says too many donuts. No, you know what? It would have been too many donuts if you brought me donuts. Instead, you brought me kale, carrots, and tomatoes. I hired Norman for this series to be my donut delivery guy. He's brought donuts to me twice. The last time, I guess he thought I was fat, brought me kale, carrots, and tomatoes.
I mean, he sounds like a pretty good friend to me. I don't know.
Somebody brings you kale, they're not a good friend, okay?
I guess.
Joey Ingram, he is here. Got a flush
Where's
here
the
for Danish
decks?
01.
Why do we have 2 color decks here?
Because, man, we can do it. What's wrong with 2 colors? Traditional, man.
I agree.
Old school.
I agree. I'm with you on that.
No, in all fairness, the 4-color deck on WSOP.com is terrible. You don't want that.
Yeah, it's very strange, right? The blue colored for something, right? It's like a blue spade or blue club.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm not normally a fan of the 4-color thing. Well, during the Galfon challenge, we had to do it because I'm covering 2 tables at the same time. It's heads up and it's so quick. So we had to go 4 colors there. We had no choice. But here, it's a little bit slower. We're only covering one table. We can do two colors. So
Yeah, we're seeing it different strategies here with some of the raise sizes, and some guys, like I said, they're doing the 2.2. We got other guys that are potting it here. So it's very interesting to see the different strategies and maybe how they work out and how they impact things here.
Fight On says Tuck and Platt trying to figure out the winning hand in PLO, priceless. Man, no, I can call the action. It's just keep in mind it's really quick, and I might be looking at one. I look at the board, then I look at one person's hands, then I got to check the other person's hands. So like the last
You'll get
hand
the
when the
hang
guy
of
had
it,
the
buddy.
flush. No, I know, but I'm looking like the last hand. I look down, I see thanks Sim God. I'm like, oh, he's got a straight. He win it? Nope. Oh, nope. The pot's going over here. Why? Okay, Danish L1's got a flush. Okay.
You let me take care of it, buddy, if you need me to. I don't mind.
Jump in anytime, man. I like that. That's why. Hey, listen. That's why I have you here. Okay. I don't want to swim in the. I mean, Jeff Platt does a great job each and every night. If you guys are not watching him, you're missing out. Every night, 10 p.m. Twitch.tv/Jeff Platt. You got to watch him. He leads us right to the final table, and he's been doing a great job. But him doing PLO on his own, it's just like swimming in an ocean with in rough water. I need help. You're my life preserver, man. You're like the Coast Guard.
I get too excited. Now I want to talk more strategy when I watch these tournaments. So I'm like very intrigued. I'm always paying really close attention to what the different players are doing and stuff like that. So
So what have you noticed?
you got to pay
Let's
attention to
talk.
these. You got to pay attention to these final tables if you want to end up taking the final tables down one day.
What have you noticed, man? Why didn't you play in this, by the way?
Well, my account, I tried loading my account, but you have to verify your account. So then you have to, because it was closed before. So now you have to submit documents, and then it takes them some time to be able to verify it. So I can't say I was like really overly excited to play a Pot Limit Omaha tournament for the most part, but it's when it's one of the only events, I might as well have played it. Why not?
Blinds 50,000, 100,000. Joey Ingram, David Tuchman here for event number 15, $1,000 Pot Limit Omaha. High roller. We had 386 unique players, 277 rebuys. You do the math, and it comes up with 663 entries. 99 people were paid. A min cash was $1,575. And as you can see, first place, 133,000. Hearts are cheap here, king high. $750,000 in there. So you've been watching this now. We've been on for the last hour or so. Any tendencies from any of these players? Anything you're picking up?
No, not too much yet. I mean, we kind of just seen a few of those big all-ins there, right? We didn't really see too much. We saw that Kings get you in a lot of trouble. I mean, that's what we saw, right? The Shy T has a bigger chip stack here. He might put some pressure on his opponents. We don't know exactly what he's going to do. He might be able to pressure Danish a little bit more too when Danish opens in these spots, because we do have the shorter stacks behind him. So we haven't really got to see how these players might be using their stack sizes at all. We haven't really got to see much play, you know what I mean? We saw a few flops, we saw a few C-bets. We haven't really seen much turn and river play. We saw a few all-ins. There really hasn't been much notable things that have taken place here for the most part.
3-bet from Phil Locke. That is not the real Phil Locke. That's Guy Dunlop. And he and Shy T virtually even. They're one big blind separates the two of them for the chip lead. 5 players remain. I mean, through all my years of covering PLO, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Kings are bad. I'm not going to tell you anything. But through all my years of covering these PLO final tables, and maybe it's very different on a final table than it is earlier on in the tournament, and certainly in cash games. But every time I see it like go 3-bet, 4-bet, all in, and one guy has kings, the other guy almost always has aces.
What's most likely because it's at these final tables that those are really the only hands people are going to go all in with. You're not really going to 4-bet with a marginal hand because there's really no reason to balance in these type of situations. So when you 4-bet, you're going to have aces, and a lot of the all-ins that you're going to see, people are going to have kings, and they're either going to be against aces or they're going to be against a rundown type hand. So either way, their hand doesn't have that good of equity, but they do smash some good queens. But I think people just maybe overestimate the power of pocket kings. But at the same time, once you put some chips in, I can understand the allure not want to fold the hand.
That's great. I has a carrot says, I want to have someone look at me like Jeff Platt looks at his glass of wine. Yeah, if you can be loved like that, you're doing something well in life.
Is Jeff Platt have a drinking problem, you think? Does he drink wine every night? What's going on with this guy?
No, I wouldn't go there, man. I don't think it's a drinking problem. I think it's, he's doing commentary every night and the guy's enjoying. I mean, the show is called Pinot, Poker, and Platt for a reason. It's the three P's. And the man is drinking some Pinot. And I'm going to tell you right now, I am so appreciative of the work that he is doing for us here in the poker community. I'm going to send him a few bottles of wine myself. I'm encouraging all of you as well. If you enjoy Jeff Platt, let's bring it together. Let's send him some wine. The guy needs it.
Yeah, I'm surprised Jeff Platt don't have many like these female stalkers kind of after him right now. I mean, he's on Twitch now. He's a hot name. He's got some people watching him. He likes to drink wine. Sensitive guy. I'm surprised he doesn't have the groupies kind of hitting him up yet, man. A single guy here in Vegas. I know we're on quarantine and all that kind of stuff like that, but
They
he's an
might.
eligible
They
bachelor
might start
lady.
coming.
Listen, man. I know 8 days of commentary with the guy. I'm telling you, he's a guy for the ladies out there, man.
By the way, I don't know if you saw, did you see Brent Hanks' tweet today? Brent Hanks tweeted a picture of Jeff Platt on the cover of GQ magazine. Hottest poker Twitch. Check it out. Maybe we can get a picture of that up because that was pretty classic.
Whoever made that is hilarious. That's a great edit. Yeah. So this guy thinks Sim God's kind of tanking down here. I don't know if he's doing this purposely or what's going on right now. We can see Chai T opening up a little bit. Open up the past two hands. He might be playing almost all of the cutoffs. Buttons folded to him.
Maybe he's multi-tabling.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know.
Well, he's gonna let it go. Danish 01 makes the call. 500,000 in there. Ace 10 7, two hearts. I assume that Chai T, having hit the chip lead that he has on a texture like this, is going to be firing this board most of the time. I wasn't expecting a pot size bet. Were you?
Yeah, it's a little strange. I mean, most likely just as a draw, and he's just playing to go with it here. So pair plus combination draw, flush draw, straight draw type hand. Plus, he's going to have a stronger range on this board often because you're going to have more pocket aces pre-flop, and you should have more stronger hands in that board overall. But we know the guy's a maniac, right?
Yeah, my PLO experience is somewhat limited, but when I got slated to do the Galfon challenge and I did that, a bunch, I started loving this game. And I remember I was talking to you about it, and I'm still looking for that coaching, by the way, Joey. And I've been in the lab, I've been working on the game a little bit, and I feel like once this COVID BS is over and I can go back and start playing some live poker, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to play a lot of PLO. I'm really excited about it.
I did invite you to come take a trip down the lab with me for the great game of Pot Limit Omaha.
We're doing
it's very fun. It's a very fun road. But yeah, I mean, I encourage you to go play, man. It's gonna be a great time. I think live PLO games are they're very fun play.
I have been in the lab. I have been working on my game, and compared to where I was just 6 months ago, I feel much better. I mean, I feel like I've gone from awful to maybe mediocre. So we'll see how we can do it here. Chai T is going to raise it up to 360. He's going to take that down. 5 players still remain, all of them guaranteed 28,469. But of course, they all have their eye on the prize: a World Series of Poker bracelet and 133,000 up top. We had 2 bracelet winners make this final table: Anthony Zeno, Matt Matros. Both of them have fallen by the wayside.
What was your in your learning PLO? What stands out? Does anything stand out that you learned and you were said, oh, just kind of like a light bulb kind of moment?
Sizing is something that, I think when I first started playing PLO, I was just so ignorant as to the nuance of the game. It was like pot, 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 just I don't know what I was doing at all, And the more I'm focusing on what sizes I should be using on different textured boards, kind of wrapping my head around that a little bit. It's it's a deep rabbit hole. Once you climb in, it's there's no way out. You just got to keep going.
Yeah, I mean, there's some strategies where you're gonna be betting pot as a standard. I mean, that's a big mistake live players make is they don't know what the fuck they're doing when it comes to size. So they're betting pot with all their strong hands and they're not betting pot with all the other rest of the hands. So like they have really poor strategies and you can never lose to these kind of guys essentially unless you run bad. So and that's what you find. And I don't mind if they want to do that. That's fine. I don't really mind the strategy at all. But yeah, it's a common mistake that most players make at
Well,
PLO
yeah,
in the beginning.
I bet you don't mind because you're sitting there going, "Cool, I know exactly what you have."
Yeah, I mean, they play pretty transparent overall. I mean, you see a lot of players like that at live poker, the live PLO. It's baffling actually that there'll be some regulars like before when I went to the win a lot, there'd be some regulars that would do that all the time. And I just couldn't believe they kept doing it. They'd come there for a month or two and keep doing the same thing. I couldn't believe that they wouldn't adjust their strategy. It just didn't make much sense to me.
Get a raise here from thanks Sim God. He goes 420,000. He's only got 296 behind. See if Chai T wants to go with this one.
Dun, dun, dun.
What kind of hands are you going with here? If you're Chai T.
That's a good question. So this guy has, what does he have? 3.5, 4, 5, 6. I mean, I'd probably be calling here with most of my like double suited hands that have any sort of connectivity, my main nut suit or 3 high card type hands as well too. And then you'd be defending and then going with most of the flops that you hit. But maybe some players might play a little bit tighter and fold some of those double suited hands that are more marginal, like a 10 jack 5-9 or something like that, which I think is pretty good. But some players might perceive that to be bad. This guy auto 3 bets pretty quickly, which leads me to believe he has a relatively pretty strong hand.
Aces.
Hmm.
Aces.
Maybe he tanks with aces. Maybe it's a pip below aces, trying to scare him away a little bit to make him fold.
King 9-4. One suit. Back over to Danish
Maybe
01.
some players would fold.
This is
I mean, yeah.
Danish 01, by the way, has Bandit covered by just a drop, I believe. Not anymore, obviously, as Bandit 275 takes that one down. He's up to 1.6 million. Danish back down to 1.1 million chips. Norman Chad says, if PLO 8 was PLO 9, I would be a crusher.
I don't get it.
Just Norman.
I'm liking Norman.
Norman.
Norman has like a lot of feuds on Twitter. It's kind of surprising. I mean, he's got like a bunch of feuds. He's got like a real bad feud. Anytime he feuds against someone outside of poker, I'm in. On the poker feuds, I kind of stay out of it. But he, yeah, man. I mean, that guy's like feuding with Clay Travis. I don't even know who that guy is, but Norman's like really going to depth with this dude. They have like a real like serious thing. I don't know what's happening there, man, with that guy.
Well, he's got, yeah, I mean, Norman, I believe most of Norman's feuds in the poker world are just fun, just in good fun. And I know he has a huge feud with like basically all of Barstool. So Norman likes to pick fights with and just get harassed. It's relentless. I actually feel bad for him. All in here on a Jack 6-5 2-time board. There's the call. Nut Diamonds versus 7-4 with a 6.
Ooh.
Danish 01's going to win that one and we lose. Thank you. Jeez. Going back and forth there. Danish showed.
Yeah, Danish just called their pre-flop. I mean, that's again one of those spots very hard to know exactly what the best play with a hand like that pre-flop is, especially facing a big raise on the button. He decides to just call and then just jams any flop that he's going to hit a piece of. So pretty normal play all around. I mean, maybe some players fold the A7, 4, 6 double suited there, but right, you can't go. I don't think you'd go wrong with calling there and just jam a flop like that.
I was gonna say, well, he had a flush draw right with a straight draw and a pair, and he hit 2 pair on the river with 6s and 4s, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, and the other guy had ace 9, 9, 10, so he had flush draw. Yeah, and right here, I imagine we're gonna see this. We're gonna see this all in for Danish. It seems like the kind of board he's gonna raise and then call a 3-bet with, and Bandit's been 3-betting a couple times here, so
8-7 deuce rainbow flop. There's the all-in up to 1.3 million. There's the call. Kings and deuces, a set of deuces here versus the straight. The straight gets there. Look at that. Set of deuces. Danish 01 makes the straight with the old 69er. I love it. I got
Yeah,
this
it's pretty
covered,
normal
man.
hand. So my man with the bottom set there, he tried to make that tricky min bet induce sort of thing like that, but he ran to the open in a straight draw with the one pair from Danish, which makes sense. You call in once you open there and call a 3-bet, you basically have a hand just like that, a kind of a rundown type hand. And now, I mean, these guys are crazy tough. This is 3 hands in a row. Danish is really going for it here.
Well, I mean, you got to give Danish credit here. 5-handed. Danish was our short stack. Picks up a couple of chips, then he eliminates a player. Then he's got more chips, then he eliminates another player. And, not only is he back in the mix for the bracelet, he's now guaranteed at least $56,749, as Phil Locke and Shy T 420 are as well.
I mean, this
Good
is
stuff.
some
3
big
players
ladders
remain.
right there. I mean, yeah. Now the guy's now
Huge.
the guy's almost chip leader in chip and 56,000 for third place, 133,000 for first place. This is where dreams are made right here, Tuck. I mean, you win 133,000, you can think about quitting your job. You win 56,000, you know what I mean? You might not think about quitting your job.
Yeah, I don't think, don't quit your job no matter what you do, guys. Just keep a job and have fun playing poker. It is crazy to me though how much variance there is, and I know in Hold'em it's like a flip basically, but you see the last 2 hands and Danish gets it in with a straight draw and a pair against the flush draw and the the overpair, and he hits 2 pair and he wins that one. He could have easily been eliminated on that. I don't know how close the equities were running on that one, and then the next hand he gets it in, with a straight draw against a set of deuces. Certainly an underdog in that hand, and he wins that one. And suddenly, you know, he could have walked out the door just with $28,000 in his pocket, and now he's guaranteed 56. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah, I mean, that's how these tournament goes, right? It's just you got to get lucky to win them, whether it's in Nolan Hold'em or PLO, especially PLO with these I mean, there's really pretty short stacks, but now we actually do get to see some play. So now it won't necessarily be that way. But yeah, once you get down to those short stack sizes, you just got to run well and pray to God. I mean, that's really what it comes down to sometimes. You just got to run well.
Yeah, another big pot here, 900,000 in there already. And when I say big pot, I mean a big pot in the dynamic of this particular final table. There's a call, and it looks like a flush, ace 9 of spades. Going to be good. Chai T had all the spades, and he now up to 5.9 million. That knocks Danish down to 3.49. Flacco 13 says you always have to play 2 of your cards. Yeah, very simple. Pot Limit Omaha. You get 4 cards, you must play 2. So 2 cards from your hand, 3 cards from the community, making your best 5 card hands.
Let's see, Danish has about 30 big blinds now, so he's going to be calling a lot from the big blind here, facing a small blind raise. A lot of players just using a limping in the small blind strategy, but we sometimes see other players who just raise as a default.
Chai T is going to bet 360,000. Quick fold from Danish, and we continue on. We had a couple of big names at the table. They have all been eliminated. Winnington, who had 6 circuit rings. Matt Matros, 3 bracelets to his name. Anthony Zeno, 2 bracelets as well. 2 of them, by the way, both those bracelets in PLO. 1 in PLO, 1 in PLO 8. And here we have 3 players. Not those guys.
Not those guys, yeah. Phil,
not them.
Actually.
Chai T, by the way, is Todd Sladek. Once again, 221,000 in career live tournament winnings. He does have 1 circuit ring.
Dun, dun, dun.
If Joey wasn't impressed with 6, don't expect him to be impressed with your 1.
I mean, is that the bar for people out there? They're impressed by 1 tournament win. I mean, I'm impressed by anyone that wins anything at poker. I'm pretty impressed by. So if you're a winning poker player, that's impressive to me. You have a good work, guys.
How about Shane Daniels, Danish 01 here? He's got $2,772 in career live tournament winnings.
How many?
He has 3 live cashes in his career.
And now
So,
now he might win $133,000.
yeah, he does have now he has 58K on 888 New Jersey, so he does play a little bit online in New Jersey. But, I mean, he's guaranteed 57,000 today, so this is, almost definitely the biggest poker moment of his career.
Well, the guy is coming to mix it up, I'll tell you that right now. He's putting pressure on his opponents. He's been playing those hands. I mean, he put himself into some spots maybe some more experienced players potentially wouldn't have put themselves in, but it's working out for him, right? I mean, that's what happens, right? You put yourself in the spots, you run well, and this is kind of what happens. But I think it's anyone's game right now. I see Shy T and Danish are both here to play. They're both ready to mix it up. Mhm. So here, Danish just limp
That's
called here. I expect Phil Lock to continuation bet here at a pretty high frequency on the ace high boards. This guy leads. It's interesting. I like it. Unusual. No
He
idea what I
definitely
would
thinks
take this
outside the
as.
box.
Yeah, it's a very unusual leading spot here. So
Do you
diamond on the
find
turn.
it's
Go ahead. Go ahead,
Yeah, 2
Dave.
hearts, 2 diamonds. I was gonna say, do you find it sometimes more difficult over a short sample size to play against players that might not be as experienced, that might not play, conventional, might not think along the same lines as professionals or you do? I mean, obviously, over the long term, over a long sample size, they're going to be very, you can exploit their tendencies. They're going to be unbalanced. But over a short sample size, can it be difficult?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're always challenged to play against. You never know what they might do. I mean, he might show up here with like ace three, like a strong two pair type hand that he just played a little bit tricky. So you never really know. But for the most part, like your ranges don't necessarily change, right? If someone leads there, it's you know what I mean? Unless you have a history with them and you know they're full of shit, then you potentially might float there and then bluff turns. But you can kind of figure out what people are doing pretty quickly. But if for a first or second time, if they make a really strange play, you're probably just going to continue with the top of your range. Maybe sometimes you float there and then try to take it away on the turn or river. So I think I treat everyone differently, and it depends on what sort of information I have with that person at the table so far. And if I've seen them show down anything, if I've seen that they can make some moves, or if I've seen that they've done this in the past in a similar situation, then maybe I'll weight them more towards air. So you basically take any information that you might have on that person and then put it into your thought process and try to figure it out.
If you recognize that voice and you're just tuning in, you're wondering, hey, wait a second, why do I know that voice? Yep, that is Joey Ingram. You've probably listened to him for hours upon hours as he puts out great content on his YouTube channel. You've got to check it out. Go over there, click that subscribe button, give my boy Joey some love. WSOP Romanian Mike, that is not the real Phil Lock. That is Guy Dunlop, who just decided to go by Phil Lock. And that's been a tendency. It seems like a trend here on WSOP.com. As I pointed out earlier, Ari Engel, very well known poker player, bracelet winner, very talented. Uh, his online screen name is Phil Ivy. And Jamie Kerstetter, who is one of the funniest people I know out there, great poker commentator, super, super funny, not that good at poker, as we know, but we like her anyway. She is Dan Blazarian on WSOP.com.
So she's not good at poker. Is that what you said?
No, I mean, I've said this a few times. When you look at the commentators that also play poker, you've got the goats. You've got Tony Dunst and Nick Schulman, who, not only are they amazing commentators, but they're also just amazing at poker. Then maybe you've got middle ground people like me and Jeff Platt and stuff like that. And then you've got the other side of the spectrum, commentators who have no clue at the poker table. And I feel like, that's Norman Shad and Jamie Kerstetter.
Dude, I want to get these two studying with me, and we'll get these guys turned around. I'm telling you right now, because it doesn't take much work in the lab with some deliberate learning and deliberate practice, and with people that know what they're doing to be able to be able to hold your own at the fucking tournament table, guys. I mean, listen, if you guys are struggling to understand this kind of stuff, you need to get in the lab out there because people are begging you to take their information from you and incorporate it into your game. And I mean, start with your 0 to 30 big blinds, study your ranges there, work your way out from there. So it's, I mean, the
I'll
tools
put it
these
this way.
days
Listen,
are amazing.
if you can turn Norman or Jamie into a winner, then you deserve a spot in the Hall of Fame.
I can turn Norman Chad into a winning tournament player.
You know what? This should be a prop bet. I feel like this is the seeds are being planted for a prop bet. I'd love to see this happen.
Well, as long as he's willing to put in a little bit of effort studying and be consistent with it, like he is consistent with the Ukuluka dance, I think that I could do it for him. I need some heart and energy.
By the way, there are people that are watching this that think that just like, man, Tuck is harsh. They don't get the fact that I'm also always sarcastic and I'm always poking fun. And for as long as I am doing commentary, I will always jab at Jamie Kerstetter and Norman Chad. It's just too much fun not to.
Is that fun? What makes that fun? It's just fun to joke around people, I guess.
It's fun. Yeah, it's fun. Why not? It's fun to me.
They would take me too serious. I couldn't do that. They would think I'm being mean, and I actually mean these things about them. So I can't say that about people. They get too upset at me.
Well, truth be told,
Danish here
yeah,
Danish on a really short stack now. He's got less than 10 big blinds. So let's see how aggressive Shy T is going to be playing. And now he has a bigger chip lead here.
Well, from what we saw earlier, I don't think Danish really, cares about necessarily ICM. I mean, he was putting himself out there when we were 6-handed, 5-handed, 4-handed. He got those chips in a certain manner. Obviously, he lost them. He just doesn't strike me as the kind of player who's going to be like, let me see if I can ladder up here. I could be wrong.
I mean, listen, the guy's played a lot of hands, so you're right. He doesn't seem that kind of strategy. He seems like he's using we haven't really seen many hands that go to showdown, unfortunately, so we don't really know what these guys have. But, yeah, he seems like he's here to mix it up, so I like it.
Norman Chad in the chat says, tuck by a shovel. It will save me some time and money.
Mm-hmm.
Casket Romance says, what about Joe Stapleton? Stapes is a legend. I love Stapes. I'm good friends with the guy. I think he is just great at what he does. No joking aside, he'll be the first one to say he's not a poker player.
Yeah, from talking with Joe, I think he's a lot smarter than people would expect him to be. And he's much more perceptive about the world and about what's happening up there. And he actively chooses not to really work at poker, and he's fine with it. He likes to focus on other things. So I think people sometimes might think that, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, so he's an idiot. But a lot of these guys are really smart people, especially people that have been around working in poker for a long time. Like, they usually know a pretty good amount about a lot of things out there. And if you talk to them about other subjects and paid attention to what they said, you'd realize, they are pretty intelligent, they are pretty smart, and they do have a lot to say. But they might just not be good at poker.
No, and you know what? I think you hit the nail on the head. I feel like Stapes, for example, he's such a smart dude. He's so perceptive. If he really wanted to be a good poker player, and he could, I have no doubt about that whatsoever. I just don't think that's his thing right now. Spades get there. Spades get there.
It's a very, very, very. King, Queen, 10-4 doesn't always have to play that hand pre-flop, but he decides to play it. Flops the wrap on the Ace Jack 3, and the other guy had, what do you have, like a flush draw and a gutter? I mean, yeah, they're getting it in here. They're willing to gamble it up here, Tuck.
Dana Show won up to 3.7 million. Guy Dunlop on 3.9, and our chip leader, Chai T, Todd Sladek, has no PLO cashes on his resume. Well, he's got one now. See if he can put an exclamation point on this first one and win his first World Series of Poker bracelet as well.
He's my pick to win, brother. Shy T, that's the guy I'm going with right now.
You're going to go with the chip leader?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the chip leader, yeah. I like his style.
I like that. I think that's I'm gonna stay objective. I'm just gonna watch and enjoy it. I'm just gonna enjoy the ride. Joey Ingram, David Tuchman
Pretty
here.
good.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, it's a pretty good turn card for Shy T. He can bet again here. I think Phil Lock's going to be calling here with a lot of straight draws on the flop and a bunch of nines as well too. They're going to have to fold the turn. He's also going to have some over pairs, jacks, queens, and kings. But yeah, it's a pretty good size right there from Shy T. A little over 1/4 pot. Puts a lot of pressure on those one pair hands and hands that have equity, but can't do much about it when he check calls here.
Yeah,
Still,
makes the
sometimes might
call.
have some of those draws because he only bet a quarter on the turn, but I think his hand's going to be mostly two pair type hands.
How about
Or
quads?
the dude's got freaking quads in his hand. Okay, that's unusual.
Quad alert.
Where did that come from? That's one way to play the quads right there, Tuck. I mean, some players would choose to check raise there, but once again, it is a pretty good card for your opponent. So you aren't necessarily going to be playing that many check raises there. Although some players might mix it in, they might choose to mix in the deuces. But also, when you have quads there, your opponent doesn't have really many strong hands. So yeah, unfortunate for him, he didn't have anything.
Yeah, no, for sure. But he got paid a little bit there. He's up to 5.5 million, and Guy Dunlop, Phil Lock, is in the chip lead. By the way, I know we put some words out there on Twitter, and I actually I was like, okay, I'm gonna put these in my broadcast, and I'm so annoyed because I can't find it. I wrote you remember the phrases we were talking about on Twitter that I was supposed to incorporate into a broadcast at some point?
I think I remember
Or did you
when
forget
we
this?
made
Like vaguely?
we made some jokes. Yeah, I can't remember what the words were. That was a while ago, but I mean, that was like
I know.
beginning of quarantine. You know what I'm saying? That's a crazy time long ago. No, I don't remember the words at all.
Me neither. I wrote it down. If I could find them at some point, I'll definitely incorporate it into my commentary. For any of you out there who I'll pull back the curtain and give you a little bit of information. We get a bet here, 880,000 pot size bet from Danish 01 on a pretty wet board, 7-6-4, 2 diamonds. Chai T is going to let it go. Once in a while, broadcasters will, commentators will have fun with each other, and they'll give the other person kind of like a fun phrase or word that they have to figure out a way to incorporate into their broadcast. It can be completely nonsensical, but it's kind of a fun little challenge. Sometimes we'll play. What's up,
And
come
now
up
you
kid
forgot the word.
24? I listen, literally, you gave me 3 of them. I wrote them down on a little piece of paper like this, a little pad, and I have no idea where it is. Honestly, there's a reasonable chance that my 3-year-old wandered in here and ate it. I have no idea.
Maybe. You never know.
What's up, positive chat? Chico Burger, driver 3311, Art Vandalay. Is that the Art Vandalay who won a bracelet? Be pretty strong. If it is, congratulations. DJ Cam. By the way, your boy Chai T 420, he's a short stack right now on 3.2 million chips. Blinds are 8160. So he's still got 20 big blinds, which brings me up to a point. Pot limit, by the way, guys, there are no antes. I still, to this day, don't understand why that is a thing in Pot Limit Omaha.
Well, we played the PLO Poker Master Series. We played those with antes, and it made the final tables a lot less nittier. So it played a lot different than the final tables we usually do commentary on. This final table specifically is not playing very conservative, so I'm not very worried about this final table specifically being drawn out. But yeah, it was a lot of fun with the antes. I think I really enjoyed that format a lot.
I just think I would think that for me, antes make everything always better. You know, it's just
Why is that?
you kind of force.
Just less
I think
tight play.
yeah, I just think you force people to play poker. You can't just knit it up. Um, obviously at final tables that can change a little bit. As you go from 8 to 6 to 4 and so forth. Naturally, the game's going to get a little bit looser, but still, I think especially at final tables, especially with PLO, people are just so concerned with ICM playing it so close to the vest. I feel like adding antes to the mix and just making it dead, not necessarily part of the pot. I feel like it's kind of a no-brainer. I just think, even by the way, playing no limit cash games, I prefer a game that has antes.
Well, Tuck, don't worry. For my upcoming Pot Limit Omaha great game of Pot Limit Omaha Poppy's PLO series, I'll be using antes in my tournaments, so it's fine.
See, I knew that. You're a man of the people.
We'll be bringing antes to
You-
the forefront. Trust me, we're going to change the
yeah,
structure a little bit for these PLO tournaments. It's going to be fun.
I assume. I mean, it's going to be 4-color decks, antes, but it'll be like 4 friendly colors to the eye.
Maybe. I mean, I think it'll depend on the operators you play. The operator the tournament series is on, but you can choose your settings. Obviously, for all the final table streams, of course, they're going to be 4 colors. Yeah. Very interesting size here from Danish. Looks like he's hoping to get called by something here with like a 2-pair type hand. Looks kind of like a blocking bet in a way too. So maybe like a marginal 2-pair, maybe very strong 2-pair. Not really sure what kind of bluffs he could have there.
I mean, would you ever turn some sort of like a 9, like if you had some sort of like a 9 jack jack or something like that, turn that kind of hand into a bluff?
Yeah, I don't think he would have made it to the street that he made it to with 9 jack jack
Right.
specifically. I think he just check folds that in the flop. So most of the hands he has in the flop that he'd bet that size in the river with, it just kind of seems like some sort of 2-pair type hand.
Makes sense. Bet call here on the flop. King, queen, 2 diamonds, 9 of hearts on the turn. Danish not slowing down. And he's going to win another one. And Danish, just an absolute roller coaster ride. Chip leader, short stack, back in the chip lead again. Gearhead Poker says
It's
my money
11
is on
a.m. in the
Danish.
United Kingdom. Holy crap, dude. Tuck, it's 11 a.m. in the UK right now. How absurd is it that these final tables are at 11 a.m. UK? I mean, I guess it's good for the UK people, right? But it's 3 a.m. in the Pacific and it's 6 a.m. in New Jersey right now.
Well, the funny thing is that people in the UK can't play on this particular site. Obviously, WSOP bracelet events on WSOP.com are only can only be played by people that are physically in the states of Nevada or New Jersey. If you are out of the country, the United States, you can play on GG Poker starting on, I think our first bracelet event is July 19th, runs through early September.
Wow, this guy limp re-raised. This is crazy.
And Danish
Here
calls.
we go. I mean,
Pot is
yeah.
2.8 million.
This is probably going to be an all-in and a call here. I'm imagining. I don't know. Chai T saying he has aces or a very strong hand pre-flop. Danish has a hand that connects with this board often. Chai T tanking down, has a half pot size bet left. Doesn't look like he's I mean,
He checks.
oh, yeah, it's not a good sign unless he has a very, very strong hand. Most likely here he's got nothing.
Danish 01 bets pot. No, I'm sorry, does not bet pot, but does bet 1.6 million, which is an all-in for Chai T.
I mean, if he folds here, he's still left with 8 big blinds. He would have had to miss this all together completely. And I mean, yeah, that's a very weird play to limp re-raise there. Yeah, very, very strange play by our man Todd there.
And then Chai T.
Here on my Poker Island idea, Tuck. I want to do Poker Island. It's like Fight Island, but Poker Island, where I get together a poker game on an island and then I stream it, and it looks cool. It looks nice. I don't know. I don't know where this idea came from. It came from the Fight Island, actually. What do you think?
I kind of like it. Listen, I wrote a script a long time ago. I like to write in my spare time, and I wrote a script a long time ago. One of my favorite books is called The Most Dangerous Game, which is basically very quickly get a raise here. A bunch of guys go on an island, and a rich guy gets to shoot them. Okay, but I thought, hey, this would be fun. Okay. Let's play poker. Let's play poker on an island. But when you're all in, when you're drawing dead, if you get knocked out, you are dead. I assume that's not where your Poker Island story is going.
You're taking this a step farther than I anticipated it going. Yeah, that's a pretty interesting idea, Tuck. I could understand why you'd want to write a great novel like that. Yeah, it makes sense.
Are you suggesting that your Poker Island story does not go there? You're not killing the poker
I
players?
mean, it wasn't my first thought, but now that you mention it, maybe I'll consider the option, yeah. Looks like
Chai
Danish here
T.
is facing a bet. I mean, if he tanks down, he's probably not gonna call there.
Danish down to 6.9 million chips. Still our chip leader. Chai T on 1.7. Blinds will go up to 100, 200 in about 6 minutes. Right now they are 80, 160.
Yeah,
But yeah, hey man,
YDMQK says in the chat that one hand he could have had king queen 10-9 where he limp free bet and the flop came jack 7. Yeah, he certainly could have had a hand like that. I mean, you're probably going with any of your overpairs there or any of your jacks there, so you had to have had a hand that was like a high rundown that missed. So yeah.
ace queen 10. 480,000 in there. Chai T with just 1.7 million. He checks. Action over to Danish 01. But yeah, man, I'm intrigued by a Poker Island story.
You're intrigued by the
the way
concept, you're intrigued by your own story about where people are going to die when they are eliminated from the game.
I know I don't want anybody to die. Mine was just a story, but I'm intrigued by your idea. Like I said, I've said this often, man. I like the way your brain works.
Well, sometimes good, sometimes bad, I guess. But I was just thinking like about putting on events and putting on things that get people excited, and the idea of playing poker on an island just seemed really intriguing, and I think it could make it look nice and make it fun and make people get really excited to watch it. And I think that's ultimately what I try to do with my content, is to get people excited, or they learn something, or they smile, or they're happy, or they sometimes get to troll people and stuff like that too. So I just thought it'd be a really great thing. And now that I have more resources, and now that I have more people that I know, and now that I understand what you can do on your own, you can create some crazy ideas kind of like that, and maybe they can come to fruition, especially if you get a really good lineup and a good game in there.
I think crazy is good. I say go with it, man. If you've got
Yeah,
an
this is a
urge,
very
go for it. Go for it here.
yeah.
So we got a bet of 160, a raise to 560. You were going to say about this?
This is very strange because the flop got checked back. He limped the button, checked back flop, and now he's raising the turn. I mean, you can put a lot of pressure on this really weak bet here because the guy bet 160 and a 480 could be trying to just take the pot away. So with this very small raise, you can put a lot of pressure on your opponent. Even if your opponent had a marginal hand that he was betting, I mean, that's a really, really, really nice play from Phil Lock. He's an unusual raise, but unless your opponent has the king jack, I mean, I don't think your opponent's betting king jack for 1/3 pot. I don't think your opponent's betting many hands there for 1/3 pot. So I think it's a great play by him, great raise by him.
Chai T now down to 1.5 million chips, just under 10 big blinds. Danish is going to raise it out of the small blind, gets called. Pot is just under 1 million. Ace high flop. No suits.
I mean, if something crazy happens between these two guys, Chai T is going to be loving it right now because he's on the less than 10 big blinds right now.
Gearhead Poker says, most mellow I have ever seen Joey. It's late, man. It's 3 in the morning here.
Yeah, I'm super tired, and you guys know me, man. Vegas, right? We're enjoying ourselves out here, man. It's a great night to be alive. It's a great night to be here, Tuck. We might see a big pot here. So Danish 2 barrels here. I think he's gonna be 2 barreling here pretty wide. Phil's gonna have aces and 4s here, plenty. And imagine Phil's gonna have some slow plays here with 4-3 and ace-4 as well too, occasionally.
Only bet 640,000. Not a huge bet. 640 into 2.9 million.
Yeah, I like that.
Really small sizing. Back
really
over
looks
to
like it
Danish.
is for value. He could have. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty big pot. It's a really nice size from Phil Lock there.
Once again, that's Guy Dunlop. He's up to 6.3 million. He's our chip leader, and the 2 chip leaders battle continues. Chai T facing a 3x raise out of the small blind. He's not going to battle that one. He's going to let it go, and we continue on. 1.5 minutes, and the blinds go up. Players are going on a break in about a minute as well. Once again, David Tuchman, Joey Ingram here. Thank you so much for joining us. We are here each and every night in July. Make sure you join us. Tomorrow night, we've got $500 No Limit Hold'em Turbo. Slated to be my guest tomorrow night is the great Valentin Bornicu. Talk a little No Limit Hold'em, little 2-card poker.
Are you excited?
Yeah, I am. I love this stuff, man. Every night something new. It's great.
Well, I'm normally asleep by now, buddy. Listen, I'd love to support your final table streams and be in the chat, but these things are going on until 3 a.m. Man, you guys got to sleep here. You got to wake up early and get your day started here.
Players are on a break. Well, come on, dude. What do you I mean, what do you have to do in the morning? Can't you just sleep in? Or do what I do? Listen, I do this. I go to bed at like 4:30 in the morning or so. My kids wake me about 9:30 or so, right? Have some breakfast, hang out with my kids, play with them and everything like that. And then at like 3 in the afternoon, when my youngest one takes a nap, I crawl in, climb in my hammock maybe, get an hour of sleep. It's all good.
Yeah, I don't mind that approach. I think right now I'm trying to take more of a normal wake up early with my girlfriend and I don't know, Tuck. I'm trying to figure it out, buddy. Listen, man. We're just here trying to figure it
I
out.
get
We
it.
don't have the schedule. I lived that whole lifestyle for a long time, waking up 1 p.m., waking up 3 p.m., waking up 7 p.m. So I'm trying this whole real world type schedule thing, and it's not necessarily for me, but we're going with it for a little while, and we'll see how it goes.
Hey, man, we're all just trying to figure it out. 2020 is certainly a year where I think a lot of people are looking themselves in the mirror and trying to figure out where they are, what they're doing, where they should be, where they want to be, so forth and so on. I'll tell you one place you want to be tomorrow at 10 p.m. You want to be with my man Jeff Platt, okay? Because Jeff Platt, each and every day, he crushes it, he kills it, and there he
Jesus.
is. Look at Jeff Platt, the new leader of Twitch Poker, Jeff Platt. Where did he get that? Where did he get that warm up suit? That's so strong.
The
Yeah,
new
Jeff
leader of
Platt.
Twitch Poker, Jeff Platt confirmed. That's a true statement right there.
Well played, Brent Hanks. Brent Hanks killing it over at PokerGo. Good guy, great poker player. Does a good job at commentary as well. He tweeted that earlier today. But in all seriousness, you can watch Jeff Platt. He is twitch.tv/Jeff Platt each and every day. He is doing that, and he takes it all the way from whatever the players are left at 10 o'clock all the way through to the final table, hands it off to us, and then we take it to the end. Players on break for another 2.5 minutes. M. Chava says, bring back Jungle Man. Jungle Man is great, man. Jungle Man to me is an acquired taste. I love Jungle. He's obviously different the way he looks at the world, but I feel like small doses probably best.
Oh, the Jungle Man? Why? What was he saying?
He just you know Jungle. I mean, he just goes off on his, he's a thinker. He takes a lot of time with his thoughts. He very thoughtful man. And when we're covering a quick online event, sometimes he can be 6 minutes ago and we're like 10 hands forward. But like I said, I mean, I think Jungle Man is arguably one of the top poker players of the last 15 years. What he has been able to do online, live, Bobby's Room, Dur Challenge, all the things that he does. It's pretty amazing. You've had Jungle on a podcast, right? I assume.
Yeah, I think I've had him on like 3 times or something like that. Yeah, he's
Right.
always a very interesting guest and very unique. Yeah, he's a very unique guest. Yeah.
For sure. For sure. He wants to get into acting and improv now.
I mean, the dude's in his own fucking world, man. So I'm not surprised he wants to get into that today. Maybe he'll get into something else tomorrow. Right? I don't know. Did you guys talk about what happened with him? The whole thing that blew up on Twitter.
We did not. We did not talk into the whole Bill Perkins ghosting issue. I feel like there's a forum for that. You do a great podcast. I have a podcast myself, and I feel like this is not necessarily the forum for that conversation. It's not something I'm not ignoring it. I just feel like, to me, when we cover a World Series of Poker event, it's about the players, it's about the game, and I try to kind of stay focused on that for this.
I'd have covered it. I mean, listen, we haven't really seen or heard much from Jungle Man. If he's a community figure, I would just imagine that he would have at least wanted to discuss it a little bit or get into it. I know it's best to just kind of give it no attention and let it die and let it go away and sort of forget about it. But I think it is something interesting to think about because it's a massive fucking problem right now in the private game world. And no one really talks about these things. And I'm gonna start talking more about it. But look at that, the game's starting up, so we don't need to get into that, do we?
The game is back. Yeah, I mean, again, like I said, I'm not dodging these things. Some people will be like, Tuck, why don't you bring this up? Why are you dodging things? I'm not. But to me, it's like, if I'm covering a World Series event, I want it to be about Phil Lack, Chai T 420, and Danish 01, and about one of these three players is going to win their very first World Series of Poker bracelet. Somebody's going to take home $133,000. For them, it's
I
the
think it's
biggest
gonna
poker
be
moment of their
Danish.
career.
I think it's gonna be
Look
Danish
at you,
01.
you're just flipping back and forth, man. Stick with somebody.
I'm trying to reverse jinx Shy T 420. I like him.
King Snipe says you're going to be starting earlier tomorrow with the turbo. Almost definitely. So when I said that Jeff Platt is starting at 10 p.m. tomorrow, my guess is Jeff is probably going to start 2 hours earlier. You can check that out. And my guess is tomorrow night for us, we'll probably be starting, probably around 10 p.m. or so. But make sure you can follow WSOP. You can follow PokerGo. I tweeted out, I'm at Tuck on Sports, and I will let you know. But almost definitely tomorrow night will be an early night. Once again, it'll be me and Valentin Borniku calling the action tomorrow night. That's a $500 no limit hold'em turbo event. Blinds are 100,000, 200,000 right now. Chai T down to just 6 big blinds. $10-4-3 out there. Pot's 400,000. Check, check. Ace of clubs on the turn.
Yeah, if Jungle Man's gonna get into acting, you could give him some tips, right?
Yeah, man. Well played, sir. Danish up to over
Chris said,
5 million chips.
yeah, Chris Bobolets on YouTube says Jungle Man tries talking like that coolest guy in the room volume tone rate. So I actually used to have a saying where you would have people like that. I call them like the cool guys that always try to talk. They'd be like, well, I mean, like, it was actually, I think Dur used to always kind of do that too back in the day. They'd always talk like they're real fucking cool, and we call them the cool guy voice. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about from talking with these
Yeah,
people.
I like that. I never thought about that, but I kind of like it.
Yeah, I think you meet a lot of those guys. Anytime you start hanging out with people who are more successful or they're good at what they do, they sometimes, get a pretty big ego and right, that's how they talk. They come off that way. I don't know. I don't know why it happens. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know why it is like that way.
Again, it's Danish and it's Phil Lock. I mean, if you're Chai T, you're happy to see these two players tangle. Who knows? Maybe you can get lucky and you can ladder up and make an extra $26,000. That's the difference between second and third place right now. Diamonds get there on the turn.
Wow, this is a pretty interesting turn because I think Phil Lock's going to have straight draws here. He's going to have top pairs with some straight draws and flush draws too. So I think he has a flush. Maybe he considers checking back here, but if he's going to bet his high flushes and his missed straight draws here.
Just out of
Yeah, tough
curiosity,
spot
from a
for Danish.
strategy perspective, Guy Dunlop's now up to 8 million. What, when you say a high flush, what is the best hand that he would check back there for, either pot control purposes or deception purposes? What flush? I mean,
Well, it looked like on the flop there that sorry, you meant on the turn. What flop? What flushes
yeah,
would he
on the
check
turn.
back?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. A lot of players are checking back the middling flushes, so they want to protect their range by the river. So you want to check back some jack high flushes and 10 high flushes as well. And maybe you want to start betting your very best first and second flushes, and sometimes you check those back depending on the side cards that you have with them is how you would break that up. So if you had a king in your hand and a nut flush, so you block top pair, which would be one of the continuing hands your opponent could have. So for instance, you want your opponent to have 2 pairs sets, those type of hands. So that would be a nut flush you might consider checking back there. So you want to construct your ranges where you're balanced so that you can always call some rivers. So if you always bet your really strong hands on the turn and you never check them back, when you do check back the turn, that means you can be exploited by someone who's paying attention to it. So it's not quite as relevant in this situation because, right, people aren't necessarily thinking about that as much here, but theoretically, if you were going to start constructing your ranges, that's the way you might think about it.
Phil Lock's going to continue staying aggressive here. Once again, that's Guy Dunlop making it 450 over to Danish 01. Once again, that's Shane Daniels.
Shout out to Honda 2000, bro. Thank you very much. You guys are very nice. Much love. Thank you.
Smernster says, if I'm watching this at 6:30 in the morning, does that mean I'm a poker addict? No, it just means that it's a good show. You guys are enjoying yourselves.
I
Nothing
mean,
wrong with
listen,
that.
you might be, bro. I mean, I don't know. Did you go to sleep yet? You're up 6 a.m. watching this. Like maybe you are, and we're not saying that's a bad thing or not, right? Because I've been addicted to poker for a long time and commentating, making content on it. I've been around the world for a while, so it's there's certainly worse things to be addicted to. It seems like out there.
No, yeah, I mean, I'll put it this way. Listen, it doesn't mean you're not, but I don't think just because you're up at 6:30 in the morning, it means you are. I mean, you might be off tomorrow. By the way, I can't believe I missed this, and I apologize to Shane Daniels. And some people in the chat have been saying it, and I kind of had to look down. I guess it was a little bit lower on the bio sheet, and I didn't see it. My apologies. Danish 01, Shane Daniels, actually has $2,772 in career live tournament winnings. Right? Obviously, not very impressive, but he does have a sixth. It does have a second place finish this series. By the way, all in here.
Oh wow, sick river.
That is a sick river
Yeah,
there. 10
straight.
of
Yeah.
diamonds. Yep. And just like that, Danish 01 is heads up. So this is a perfect time for me to say it. Chai T, by the way, gone in third place. He takes home 56,749. This is the second tournament that Danish 01 has been heads up for the bracelet. He lost to Nathan Gamble
Really?
in event number 6. Yeah,
Wow.
I feel like the biggest idiot. My apologies
What the
to
hell,
Danish
Tuck? How
01.
you leave us out on
I,
that, buddy? Come on.
Dude, drop the ball completely. I dropped the ball. This is my fault. I take full blame for this one. Okay. I'm glancing at his bio and I see that, and all the online names, they just kind of, they come and go, and I just didn't recognize it. But yep, Danish 01, Shane Daniels, runner up to Nathan Gamble, event number 6, made $55,283. So
So we saw this earlier with what was his name? I'm sorry, something like that. He got second, and then he won an event right after that. So we might see a second player get second place and then win the event after. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, Ryan Togerson, yeah, that's I'm sorry. He did it back-to-back nights. Second place, 24 hours later, he wins the bracelet. Unbelievable story. Danish 01, second place, gets completely ignored by the commentator. I'm sorry. And is now playing for a bracelet again. How disrespectful of me. My apologies, Shane Daniels. I now have to root for the guy. I try to stay objective in these things, but now I have to root for him. I hope he accepts my apology.
Dang,
M
man, the guy's
Chava
probably sitting there watching
1123.
he's watching this just triggered. He's like, man, doesn't these guys know I got a second place in an event already? I'm going for the victory here, guys.
That's what I mean. I mean, can you imagine if he's listening to this and he's like, okay, pardon my language, but he's probably sitting there going, what the fuck do I have to do to get any acknowledgement from Tuchman? Right? Hey, heads up. You and I covered a lot of heads up PLO.
I know we've definitely covered a lot of heads up PLO. This is true.
We can do this. This is easy. Blinds 100,000, 200,000.
It's a pretty full of shit bet here on the river. But Danish
You don't
doesn't
buy
look
it,
to have
huh?
a very strong hand here either. Yeah, I mean, Danish, if he had a queen, he probably bets at some point in time here. Could have a queen potentially, maybe. Right, but most likely he's got a pretty weak hand there. So you can stab there pretty often, and you're not risking much to take it down.
Slightly less than a 2-1 chip advantage for Phil Lock. Once again, Phil Lopp is Guy Dunlop. He is from Portland, Oregon. He has 106,000 in career live tournament winnings, 51,000 in WSOP. He's won 212,000 on 888 New Jersey.
Chuck, are we not going to mention that they just spilled out hundreds of thousands of dollars on our table? Like we're just are you just numb to the fact that they just spilled out a suitcase full of money like they just robbed a bank on the middle of the table randomly? I mean, that's pretty wild. What the hell? Where'd that bag of money come from right there? That's a pretty sick pile right there, man.
I know. It is. And I was talking to Jungle Man about that, and you know that money's real, right?
What do you mean?
Never mind. I said that I said that to Jungle Man, and Jungle goes, "Really?" And I go, "No, man, I'm just kidding. I'm joking around. I'm just playing." Yeah, no, I don't know. Honestly, that graphic and that money has been a topic of conversation each and every night I've had a guest on. Aunt Zeno in the chat. What's up, Aunt? Aunt Zeno, two-time bracelet winner. Yeah, just an absolute crusher. It's not. Dana Show won up to 5.7 million. Zeno, two-time bracelet winner, won the 25K PLO. I got to tell you, Zeno, if you're going to choose to win the 25K PLO or the 1K PLO, you chose the right one. Just going to put that out there.
Yeah, how much did he win for that one? It was like 1.3 million or something like that, right?
Yeah, I have it somewhere in my, but yeah, a lot of money. So I can find it for you. You can call the action while I look this up. 1.1 million he won. 1.12.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. Nice payday right there.
No, not bad at all. Obviously, 133,000, a far cry from that, but still, obviously, the buy-in this one just $1,000. So 133x your investment, certainly not bad. And then to win a bracelet, also huge. Now, to be fair, the last
play
one
here, yeah, they have 25 big blinds. So we get to see some play, but yeah,
and a little bit less than a 2-to-1 chip advantage for lock. To be fair to Dana Show 1, we did not know his name last time he was heads up. We found out later on. Obviously, now we know that is Shane Daniels. Next time he's heads up for a bracelet, I'll have it all down. I'm gonna have it like written up on a poster board for me.
Yeah, you better never forget this dude again, buddy.
No, never. I will never forget him. And when, by the way, if I see him in Vegas or anywhere else, I will buy this guy a drink as well. Because pretty, like I said, pretty pathetic performance by me. Pocket Queen's good for Phil Lock. We continue on here. 100,000, 200,000. As always, the small blind is on the button. Acts first pre-flop. Gets to act last post-flop.
Yeah, we get to see some play here. So we do have some play. What are they at? 20, 30, 25 big blinds here. So we will get to see a little bit, which will be nice. Looks like players are using a pretty conservative strategy so far. One person's limping, the other person's min raising. Usually in heads up, a lot of players are going to play all their buttons. They're either going to raise or they're going to limp. Some players mix in the both. Some players just do one or the other. You always see differing strategies with heads up. So some guys are really aggressive. It kind of starts off the matches I've seen. They usually kind of feel each other out unless they get a big hand. And then once they feel each other out a little bit, it might start turning up the heat a little bit. But I think here with Danish being so short, I think we're going to see a lot of small pots for right now.
Ghost of M, what's going on? Aunt Zeno, our pleasure. Certainly my pleasure to be here commentating on you. Congratulations on a great series so far. 7 cashes for Zeno as we watch these two battle for the bracelet. Again, Danish 01's second attempt at a bracelet. He was heads up to Nathan Gamble, lost that one. Can he come back and win this one?
Did you say Zeno? You said Zeno has 7 cashes?
7 cashes this series.
Jeez, pretty sick.
He's good. The guy can play the poker.
A lot of cashes. I mean, what day are we right now? It's like day 15. You have 7 cashes. It's pretty solid. Pretty solid tournament, hopefully, for him.
Yeah, I mean, 7 cashes, a couple of deep runs, a final table. I'm gonna go on a limb and say that he's up money.
Yeah, you never know.
Norman Chad still in the chat as well. Yeah, Norman Chad talking about that. He says Zeno even dresses well online. Yeah, I had Max Steinberg in the booth last night, and that guy is a well dressed man. Always
I
seems
mean,
like.
what makes these guys so well dressed? What do they wear a suit? I mean, how hard is it to go wear a suit? Is it just they do it or what?
Nobody's coming out here and saying that it's a difficult thing to do. I don't think
Uh-huh.
dressing up is necessarily difficult. It's just a matter of some people do it. I mean, Matt Berkey, Max Steinberg,
I
Cam
wear all
Zeno, they
black.
just do
It's
it.
not hard. I just put on black. I mean, my strategy is like wear all black, wear clothes that fit you, and then you'll look pretty solid. And it's not like a rocket science thing. Anyone could do it.
Hey, listen,
I try to tell people that when they ask me for tips.
I've seen you at the Poker Awards, and when you want to look good, you break out. You've got the vest, you've got it all going on there. I've seen that. So sometimes you want to get dressed up. Listen, I'm not one of those poker players that if I'm playing poker, I want to be comfortable. There's some guys out there that they wanna look good when they're playing poker. I get it. Teach their own. It's all good.
Yeah, when I go to the poker awards, I basically have my 1 or 2 outfits that I get to wear each year, and that's about it. So
Right.
that's like the only time I really get excited to wear that outfit, just because it feels like it could be something. I mean, everyone's there. You see them one time a year. Why not? Why not dress nice?
By the way, congratulations on your long overdue poker awards this year.
What do you mean?
I'm saying it's about time that you actually won.
Oh well, technically I've won before, but I do understand where you're coming from. So I agree. We got 3 awards
You know,
back there now, Tuck, but
right,
we
right.
did win. They did take down 2.
Right. You know where I'm going.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. No, shout out to me. I see Poker Sasha in the mix. Shout out to Sasha. Alla Coromosa. You know Sasha, right?
I do.
They call her the Pot Limit Omaha Queen where I'm from. You don't agree with that
Do they?
nickname?
No,
Yeah,
it's
they
not a
do.
matter
What
of
are you talking about? Of course they do. Yes, they do. They
listen.
call her
It's
the Pot Limit Omaha Queen.
I'm not doubting that. It's not a matter of whether I agree with a nickname or not. It's just a matter of if somebody has a nickname and people actually legitimately call them by that nickname, that's their nickname. Whether I agree with it or not is not even a question. I don't know her well enough to know that if it's an apropos nickname, if you're asking me, but I'll take
Oh
your
well,
word for it.
the chip stacks will show you. I mean, listen, I know from experience and in person, she's the chip collector.
The
Looks like we're
chip
gonna see it all
collector.
in here,
Okay.
Tuck. Yeah,
Yeah, you feeling it?
I'm feeling it here. Let's see what Danish does. He raised and called a 3 bet.
Sounds great. Let me know who wins. There it is, the all in.
Wow.
Aces. Oh, wow. It's over.
Whoa.
No flush. Jack six clubs, right? No, ace three of clubs. Oh my God, it is over. I'm terrible at that. That is awful. Oh my gosh. I'm looking at him going set, flush. No, other guy's got the flush. Joey, you got to bail me out on that. It's over. Dana Show won. Runner up again. Always a bridesmaid, never the bride. Dana Show one finishes in second place. He'll take home $82,000. First place goes to Phil Locke. That is Guy Dunlop. He'll take home $133,780 and his first World Series of Poker bracelet. And certainly a call for me that will go in the trash can. Joey, man, thanks so much for joining us. Any final takeaways?
I mean, that last hand, a little shaky, but the call, once you put your money in, you're calling a half pot. You have a gutter, backdoor flush draw. Maybe you lay it down, but that's one of the worst flops you could have had for your hand. But he decided to go with it, gamble it up. Both of them make the backdoor flush. But overall, I mean, I think we just saw a lot of short stacks, right? We didn't get to see a ton of real intricate play happening, and with the whole cards down, we didn't see a lot of hands of showdown, unfortunately. But I feel like Phil Locke, from what I saw, did play pretty well, and it's nice to see him rewarded for the victory. It's very, very nicely played by both of these guys.
That is Joey Ingram. Once again, guys, you got to check him out. He's got some new content coming out. You can go over to YouTube. Make sure you click on that subscribe button. I assume you already do. If you're watching this, that means you love poker. And if you're watching this and you love poker, you definitely love Joey Ingram. So check him out over on YouTube. Joey, thank you so much for joining us, man. Really appreciate it. This series is really kind of, no limit heavy, but, we've got a couple of PLO events. I've got your boy Dylan Weissman coming on July 20th, I believe, the next PLO final table. I know you're a fan of his.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I love
Uh-huh.
Dylan. Dylan's my guy. He told me he's gonna be doing commentary, so I'm excited for him to get in the mix.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. You and I commentated with Dylan last year, I believe that was it, when we were, before all this stuff. Anyway, we are done. We are back at it tomorrow. Once again, $500 no limit hold'em turbo. We will have a earlier start time, so make sure you follow us on Twitter and just keep abreast. If you want to stick with us, I know that Jeff Platt will be doing it on his Twitch channel beforehand. Joey, once again, thank you so much. For all of you watching at home, thank you so much. For everybody at PokerGo, for everybody at the World Series of Poker, for Joey Ingram, I'm David Tuchman. Good night. Bye bye.
Peace.